welcome back to Deediets. If you saw my last video, you know I'm not changed. I was doing 2 videos in one day. And today, I'm going to make a pork butt. My girlfriend, when I went to her house, had a pork butt that she went to the butcher, to the grocery store, the butcher in the grocery store. She got a pork butt and she said, just slice that thing. So, and she baked it and it was delicious and she breaded it, and I'm gonna show you my version of what she did. And if you notice, this is my shirt that I wore in my first YouTube video, and it is so much bigger than it was when I did when I first started doing my channel. But I told you what happened. You know, I did have a little gain of a weight. I did 12 extra pounds I put on. So hopefully we can take that 12 pounds off this year. I would like that, and if I could do more, that'll be even fabulous. But I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna make with my pork butt, and I think it's gonna be absolutely delicious. So you're not gonna see me, you know me, I rather have just my hands showing and what I'm doing. Alrighty, I'll see you in a few. Okay, so here's the pork butt, and what they did is they sliced it up for me. See what I mean? They just did it in pieces. Just wanna show it to you. You get the little piece of paper out from underneath there. Yeah, there we go. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it in half. So I took the pieces. They're really chunky and delish. And I'm leaving the fat in. So I'm going to do that with all the pieces. Now this had a bone in it, and I said leave the bone. Don't take out the bone. Bone is flavor. So it might be a little difficult to cut this one, but I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. There we go. Big chunks. There we go. Oh, this might be a little difficult on this one. Oh, well. I'll come around. I'll come around somehow, somewhere. Get a sharp knife. You're going to need it. Okay. So mine was on the bone. This is the bone. And I just cut this up. Even though this was already pre-cut for me, I just cut the pieces up. I'll show you what else I'm going to do. I keep the bone because I'm going to roast the bone, and I'm going to freeze this, but I'm going to use this in probably another kind of soup dish that I make. So I'm going to hold on to the bone. It still has some meat on it. I might do a pea soup and may want to have some of that pork meat in my pea soup. So once the meat is off the bone, you start cutting it up. Now, you could buy a pork butt on the bone or off the bone, whatever you want. And you'll have nice sized pieces. So I'm just going to cut it up. You know, any which way, because we're going to pound it down a little bit. And I'm going to cut these pieces because they're big chunks. I'm going to cut them up. I do leave the fat on. Fat is flavor. So I leave it on. You know, if somebody's eating it, they could always trim it away. If there's just too much fat, like this piece had a lot of fat on it, so I'm just going to put that to the side. I never throw out my fat. I do render it. And I'm just going to cut through this. There feels like there's a little bone in there, and there is. Okay. Again, it would have been probably easier with a boneless pork roast, but I knew that I would use the bone for stock, and I would definitely use it when I make a gravy, especially a pork gravy. So I just freeze that. And I take some of the excess fat off. Fat is beautiful, though. And I don't take that much because nowadays meat is not as tender as it used to be. So I'm just going to take a little bit more fat off of there. Okay. And now we have these big chunks to go. Denise, what are you doing with those big chunks of meat? I'll show you. I have one of these mallets. Yeah, when Doug gets me aggravated. No, I'm only joking. Anyway, I'm just going to slam it up a little bit. Sure you don't want to listen to that. Oh, that's beautiful. There you go. You see it? Okay. Now I'm going to do that with all the rest of these, but you don't need to hear it because otherwise I'm going to be banging. You'll get a headache. So let me just do this and I'll come back. All right, so what I did is I cut up all the meat and pounded it down. It's all around the same thickness, just so that you see. And I just put that in a bowl. And then, let me just put this to the side. Now, the pork bones with the extra meat and some of the fat. I don't know if you see it right there. Yeah. I am not throwing this out. And I said that before, but I was thinking while I was, cutting up the meat, that I will use this to make my homemade sauce. Gravy. If you're a New Yorker, you know a gravy is a red sauce. So I know I'll brown all of this and throw the tomatoes in and the garlic and the onions, and I'll make a delicious red sauce, as I refer to as gravy. So let me put that aside. Now, in this bowl, I have 4 beaten eggs. They're in there. Believe me, I don't want to tip the eggs over and have them flying. Now, what am I going to do? I still want to go low carb in my own way, and I'm going to take a cup of breadcrumbs, okay, and I'm going to stick that in here, but, I'm also going to take a cup of almond flour, so I don't use, all of it as breadcrumb. So that's what I'm doing there. Now, it's a seasoned breadcrumb, which is this 4C seasoned breadcrumb, but I'm going to season it just a little bit more. You can tell we go through garlic. Look at this. Look at this sucker. It's huge. And I'm going to put some garlic in. I'm going to say about 2 tablespoons. And then I'm going to take some salt. You know what? Let me just do it this way. About a teaspoon of salt. I don't know if you can see in the palm of my hand. A teaspoon. There we go. I'm seasoning it because you have to remember the almond flour is not seasoned. Now the breadcrumbs are, but we're just going to put a little extra seasoning in. And of course some freshly cracked black pepper. There we go. Okay. And what I'm going to do is just I'm going to toss the breadcrumb. Hey, God gave you fingers for a reason. With the almond flour. There we go. Oh, that's fabulous. There we go. Tossing it all. It makes it very light. Makes the breadcrumb very light. There we go. Oh, it's perfect. Hello. There it is. There's your almond flour and breadcrumb. And boy, is that, because there's really no carbohydrates in the almond flour. And for every 1/4 of a cup of breadcrumb, it's 18 grams of carbohydrates. So we used a cup. So we're thinning it out just by putting the almond flour in, because I don't know whether I'll use all this mixture. I'm not sure yet. And there we go. Okay. Oh, it's like snow. Let me just put this away. All right, I'm back. Now, I forgot a dish. I knew I would forget something. Let me go get a dish. Now, if you do this like an assembly line, it's going to be much easier. So I'm just going to take my pork, and I'm just going to put it in an egg mixture. It's great for people that are on keto. And if you are on keto, just do all almond flour and add all the spices in that you like into your almond flour. But I'm doing a combination of both. And I'm just going to put them on a dish. There we go. You're not using that much, to be honest with you. It's not like I'm double breading this or anything. I'm not doing any of that. Just dip it in the egg. Let the excess egg drain off. And I will come back, because I'm sure you don't want to see me just sitting here breading the pork butt. But it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Okay, let me just finish this up, and then I'll come back when all this is breaded. Okay, they're all breaded. Look how beautiful they look. And I will tell you, I had about 3/4 of a cup of extra breadcrumb left from doing all the dredging. Of course, you have to throw that out because it had raw meat in it. But just to let you know, you may want to start off with a 1/2 cup of breadcrumb and a 1/2 cup of almond flour. And this is 4 pounds of meat. So, 3 pounds. I'm sorry. This is 3 pounds of meat. So really, that's all it took was, really all it would have been was a 1/2 cup of bread, a 1/2 cup of seasoned breadcrumb, and a 1/2 cup of almond flour, and add a couple of other spices, that you like. So that's a lot, and it's breaded. And now I'm going to put it on the pan. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. We're not frying this. Now on my pan, I have a big cookie sheet, which I wrap with tin foil, and then I put a piece of parchment paper on here. What I do with then is that I take, remember our Evo sprayer, for every 4 squirts, it's 1 tablespoon of oil. And what's in here is just canola oil, just so that you know. If you have olive oil, use olive oil, but what's in here is canola. So I'm just gonna spray this a little on my parchment paper, that's all. And then I'm going to take, don't mind my hands, I'm going to take the beautiful pieces of pork meat. Oh, you know what? It's going to be delicious. It's going to be absolutely delicious. And I'm going to put them all on the pan haphazardly. Doesn't really make a difference. Not yet, but it'll be delicious. It doesn't have to be beautiful on the pan. And I'm laying it all on here. And I love putting tin foil on a cookie tin only because it keeps the cookie tins really clean. And parchment paper, you don't need a lot of oil. And that's the beauty of working with parchment paper, because nothing's going to stick to it, and it's going to be fabulous. Now let me wash my hands before I touch this oil one more time. Okay, they're all on the pan. Oh my goodness, we don't want that to happen. Things falling around all over the place. Anyway, I'm going to take this sprayer again, and this time I'm going to squirt basically on each one. You know, if it needs a little bit longer, take a little bit longer. But I can guarantee you I didn't even put a tablespoon of grease on either one of these. And now I'm going to pop them into, now this is different. I'm going to put these into a 300-degree oven. So they're going to really take their time. The fat will render out. Whatever fat is in here will start rendering out. And we will flip these halfway because they will get toasty and brown. But if you notice, we didn't fry them because oil can be really high in calorie. We use very little oil. And now we're just going to pop them in the oven. And I'm going to show you what else I'm going to make. Now, I don't know about you, but I love sweet potatoes with pork. I truly, truly do. What I did, and I want you to see the size of this potato. My hand is bigger than this, okay? And I have little hands. My hand is bigger than this potato. So it's a small sweet potato. And I put up, and this little tiny, and this is tiny. I put about 8 sweet potatoes in around this size. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a little Sunken Gold, which is 0 carbs, 0 sugar. Now, of course, if you're not watching your weight, my goodness, take 4 ounces of any brown sugar that you like. I happen to like this one. And this is going to sound strange to you, and just add it to a half a cup. I want to just put this over here so you can see it. A half a cup of water, okay? You're going to yourself, why is she putting that in water? Because I'm going to use, now you can use regular butter, but I'm going to use Thrive Life, and I want to get up to the camera. They have freeze-dried butter, and it is divine. And it is only 15 calories a teaspoon, just so that you know. And I'm going to add that to my water, and there's 3 tablespoons in here, okay? And I'm just going to mix it up with the sugar and the water and the butter. And it's all going to emulsify, and it's going to be fabulous. And you're going to say, really, Denise, that really works? Yes, it does. But you could use regular butter. You can use 4 ounces of butter in here as well. But you'll see it's really thick. It gets thick because it's, remember, not that thick, because I used a lot more water than I would have had to do if I was making butter. But that butter, that freeze-dried butter is great on popcorn. Right out of the oven. Oh, right out of the microwave. Put some of that on, or on a baked potato. Sprinkle some of that on. Oh, my goodness, it's delicious. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my potatoes, and now I'm going to just take my brown sugar and my butter, because remember, I wouldn't have used water at this point. I just would have put in regular brown sugar and pads of butter throughout. But because I'm trying to watch what I'm putting in my mouth, let me scrape all this little butter out. It's delicious. Scrape it all out, scrape it all out. It'll all mend together. It'll be gorgeous, and it'll be fabulous. Now I'm going to just stick it in the oven with the pork chops. And this will take about an hour. Yeah, so will the pork chops, probably, if not more. Well, the pork butt. And I have a little top for this. You can choose to put tin foil over it, but this is a little old Corningware that belonged to my mother, and it's tiny. I don't know how big this is. Does it say on the bottom? It doesn't. But it's a tiny little crock, and I think it's so cute. So in the oven, this is going to go. And I'm back. Now, the beauty of all of that is everything is going right into the oven. Along with this, I'll probably be making some broccoli or some cauliflower rice, which I am loving. They have it at Aldi's, just so that you know. They already have it in the bag, so you don't have to buy the whole cauliflower and grind it. I'll do anything that's simpler. And FYI, just so that you all know, Aldi's is coming back with their 0-calorie bread in February. I was there the other day and I said to the girl, "Are you coming back with that 0-carb bread?" And she goes, "Yes, we're coming back." Oh my goodness, I was so excited. I can't even begin to tell you. I was like, bread and 0 carbs. I mean, those two things go well with me. So as you can see, I used half breadcrumb, half almond flour, some extra garlic powder, salt, pepper, to your liking. If you want to put extra herbs into your breadcrumb, my God, do it. You know, do whatever you want. And I love the idea of the sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are really healthy, and I'm sure you noticed I didn't take the skins off. I washed them really, really well, cut them into small cubes, popped them in the oven. Now, like I said, if you're using brown sugar, you can just sprinkle brown sugar on top of those sweet potatoes and 4 pats of butter, 4 ounces of butter on top, and it'll all melt down. Put a cover over it, put tin foil over it, and within an hour, it's going to be delicious and bubbling. But I had to use my Thrive Life freeze-dried butter and my Sunken Gold butter because I really want to eliminate some of the calories. And hey, it is called Deediets after all, so I want to eliminate some of the calories. I could have easily fried those pork chops. I keep saying pork chops. The pork butt, I could have easily fried that. But I also know, had I done that, I would have used a lot more oil. It would have gotten absorbed in with the almond flour, in with the breadcrumb. And it would have just given me more calories that I truly, truly do not need. I do not need any more calories. So I'm going to let it cook. I'm going to do my dishes. And then when I'm all done, I'm going to show you the results. I'll be back. And one more thing. If you're going to use a mallet, meat only. Make sure to put it in a container with some water and a little bit of bleach, because you don't want any kind of meat or bacteria growing inside of this, because you're going to be pounding it down. Now, your butcher can do it for you and put it through a machine, but it always costs more. Now, don't think about doing anything else with this. It's still cooking. My dishes are done. We'll come back and try a sample when it's all finished. Just keep this in mind. Only for me. Nothing more, ladies. Nothing more. Well, look what's ready. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here are the pork. This is the pork. And I want you to see, I don't know if the camera's really picking it up, but so much of the fat rendered from the pieces of meat. Oh, it looks so good. It looks so, so good. And then, looky. Ooh, steamy. Look how beautiful the sweet potatoes are. You see this? Oh my gosh, they look so good. Everything is tender and fabulous. And here it is. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Now, of course, I'm going to make a vegetable, but I had to show you, we have to take a taste. Of course, I'm looking at my hair, and I have to do something, because, there we go. I'm looking at my hair, and it's like popping out on this side. I'm a mess. Okay. Oh my gosh. First, I want to try the sweet potatoes, which look absolutely delicious. This is hot. I didn't put salt in this. Like butter. It's delicious. Now, we're going to try the cutlet. I want you to know I'm not even using a knife. I'm not even using a knife. I'm just able to cut right through it. Now, this is with the I was going to say cornmeal. Hello. This is with the almond flour and the breadcrumb. You know, I halved it. Half and half. That's a big piece. Wait a minute. I don't want to choke on that gosh darn thing. But I do want to try it. Let me try it like the mukbang people. Hello, look at it. Look at it, delicious. That is so good. That is good. So basically, one small sweet potato is only 130 calories. There are really no calories in the sugar because I used the Sunken Gold brown sugar, or you can use Splenda brown sugar. And then the Thrive Life, what the heck was it called? The, hello, what are you? The freeze-dried butter, which was only 15 calories a teaspoon. And look at all the potatoes I used, and I only used 3 tablespoons of it. That's not bad. They're delicious. Mmm. 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 I hope you try this. I really do. That is so good. The meat is so tender because some of the fat, remember, a pork butt has a lot of fat on it. I'm sure you hear the dogs in the background. Who's snooting? Who's... Oh, the confusion. Anyway, I hope you have the opportunity to try it. When you go to the grocery store, get a boneless pork butt. I think it'll be a lot easier for everybody. And tell your butcher to cut it as thick as you want him to cut it. And then cut, hammer it down a little bit. And if you don't have one of those hammers or mallets, ask them to run it through the press. They'll do it. They'll do it. Bake it in the oven. Little bit of oil. Half breadcrumb. Half almond flour. So I wasn't getting all those carbohydrates. Absolutely delicious. Until I see you all the next time, have a wonderful, wonderful day. And don't forget, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and I'll see you all soon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.